Hi all, welcome back. Ken mentioned Kharkov, German. So this is part 71 and it is the start of game turn 6. Yes, and yeah, we finished in a bit of style. Well, it felt good anyway, whether it's anything to get worked up about or not, but it was good anyway. Okay, let's just move on. Nothing to talk about. I've not been away that long, to be honest. Um, So I might not get too much done here, but yeah, anyway. Right, so step one on the sequence of play is reserve phase. So take units from current turn space, place them in the reserve boxes, and then from turn 3, deploy delayed German reserves. Right, let's go and have a look. Well, just glancing down, we do have a unit in the reserve units box, but he came from the eliminated units. He's only one step. You can see he doesn't have a turn. You would need to have a turn marker to be deployed with a delayed reserves, so he's not applicable for that. There's no units in the reserve units in the calendar, but we're going to have a quick look at the calendar. Okay, so game turn 6. Just shoot them out the way. We might get a bit of shadow in with that light close by. So February the 16th to the 18th, fixed artillery range is still 5. Oh yeah, hand size goes up to 6. German hand size is 6. Closer in there. That's the best I can get. German hand size is 6. German supplementals are still 6 from before. Set up ground condition markers. Right, and I can just make out... Yeah, I'd looked at it already. So less than 17 for a strategic victory, although we still need to own Kharkov. And it looks like the same again. Greater than 24 for a strategic defeat. And like I've just said, we're on 17. We're sitting outside Izium, which would take them to 16. I know we're not even started the turn yet, but we need to still own Kharkov as well, though. So it's something to think about. Set up ground condition markers. Yeah, I want to say that's at the end of the turn. That's how it was in the Soviets, so... well, actually, maybe not. I'm not seeing it in here at all. I think I had the same thing, though, in the sequence of play. I didn't talk about it. Let me see what it says. It's at the back of the book, this, isn't it? Ground condition markers. On game turns 7 through 13, the ground conditions vary. So, yeah, turn 6. During the end of turn phase, on game turn 6, match together face down the 5 ground condition markers. Place 4 of them, the markers, on the face down the calendar spaces, and place the 5th marker set aside unseen. Yeah, so that's the end of turn 6. Why does it not give us that? Yeah, it doesn't give us that in the sequence to play on the back of the book anyway. Whether it's in the sequence to play in the turn phase. No. That feels like it's missing there. Quite curious to know if it had it in the Soviets. So I know I was struggling to find it at first, so it might be the same. Just you would think it would be in the sequence of play with a 6 beside it, you know? Okay, well, the Soviets, so the back of the book, sequence of play, it has a mention of between turns 6 and 12 where you would reveal the ground condition marker for the next game turn. It doesn't have that in this on the German solo, so I'm wondering if that is a bit of an omission. Although there's nothing in the sequence of play within the rule book itself that talks about ground condition markers and the Soviet solo. Not in the end of turn phase anyway. Is there? No. No. I mean, I know it talks about it if you go at the back of the book and it talks about ground condition markers. And that looks like the same. Yeah, it feels like that could have been put in there. I think you could easily move on by that, to be honest. Okay, well, hopefully we'll stay switched on at that. maybe something to think about. It does have it on the calendar, I suppose, so that's maybe a bit of a reminder. So it doesn't happen till the end of this turn. Is that what I said? I think so. Yeah. During the end of turn phase on game turn 6, mix together. Right. As long as we remember to do it at the end of the turn now. Right, well I think that's all we need to see from the calendar, so I'll just put that Arena 1 unit move back and move on to the card preparation phase. Okay, I've just realised these cards should have been in here, shouldn't they? I think they're a wee bit too close to the action for me to kind of worry a bit about like getting them involved. Also, it kind of covers up that, which tells you about, not that I really paid attention to it, but you can see game turn 6 there, it says 1 primary card, 1 supplemental, and that's what we've got. So we place this turn's primary reinforcement cards face down in the draw pile. So we get the Field Marshal, 1 Eric von Manstein. So we get him, so that's a primary card, so we'll definitely get that this turn at some point. And then we've got 1 supplemental which goes face down in the available supplementals. We're then going to shuffle the available supplementals and draw 6 of them, is it? 6 of them and put them into here. So I will get that done. Right, so that's the 6 supplemental cards now. There is still 4 getting left back. So, yeah, there's still that chance that the 4 cards could be cards that we really want. Now, we didn't get the 4th Panzer Army. We didn't get the Army Group South either. So, but there's 4 cards that we're not getting. We don't know. Right, and then we take the discarded supplementals from last turn, just double checking they're all supplemental, and then they'll be available for possibly the next turn. We then take our primaries, just double checking their primary, there's 6 of them, and they go in here. We shuffle this up and we draw a hand size of 6 this time. Okay, that's that done. I've just set my hand aside. I haven't looked at it yet. As usual, we'll just keep the suspense of that for now. Right, and then nothing tricky. And if you're wondering why these are the way they are, remember we had to reshuffle the deck and draw some extra combat tactics. So these all just reshuffle up and create a new command deck. Okay, and that's that done. So now on to the supply phase. So yeah, the part of the game that we love. That wasn't as bad last time. So place garrisons in eligible Soviet VP and village hexes. This is 15.1, the rule. So let's get to it. So this one, well, this time the big thing to keep in mind is German proximity as well, Grant. It doesn't have to be just in supply, so thanks for that, Lawrence. Hopefully I'll keep that in mind this time. So yeah, we're looking for something, a Soviet unit's proxima or the hex is in Soviet support, and also a German unit with proxima or German supply can be traced. They're the big ones, and we're looking for any village hex meeting these requirements. No, hang on, I forgot about the VP hex. Place a garrison marker in every empty Soviet VP hex from which Soviet supply can be traced. Yeah, so that is maybe relevant because we did empty. And then when we're checking German proximity, we've got to remember all garrisons not adjacent to German units are considered to possess a Soviet zone of control. Right, but at the moment we're actually checking, so any Soviet VP hex, Soviet supply can be traced. And well, here's Krasnograd here. One, we know we can't quite. Well, we'll get there eventually. This guy is going isolated, but he's not yet. So, but it can trace up to here, and that's fine. So we will get a garrison there. I suppose I'll persevere putting them on top of that. But if I run out, we'll just leave a garrison. Yeah, there's quite a few, isn't there? We've got Valky here. Yeah, Soviet supply can be traced to Valky. and to Zemiev, and to Chugayev. Yeah, I'm going to burn all my garrisons doing this, so I'll probably take them off and just leave the garrison in the town. That should be... I mean, I'd rather have it that way, just in case I make a blunder somewhere. That's them all, eh? Everybody else is... There's not any more that are empty. They two up the top, they're the ones I took the markers off of. If I've got any left over, I'll maybe double them up, just to make it look like the same. Yeah, okay, that's them all. So now we're looking at and we go from highest hex number to lowest hex number. We just go that way, keep going that way until we... And we're looking at villages. Yeah. And they need to be in Soviet support. Now, the Soviet support line is still this one here. So they've still got quite a bit, but as you can see, these hexes here are outside Soviet support. So we would need to have a Soviet unit proximate to these. Is that right? Yeah, Soviet unit would need to be proximate to these for a garrison to be placed. So, okay, right. I'll just start looking, and I'll stop and start, no doubt. Hi all. Right, I've been paused since last night. I thought I was going to get back when I paused, but didn't happen. So, anyway, well, just a continuation of where we left off, and I believe we were placing the garrisons. So I've had a look. There's nothing. The first one I've came to, there's a couple that are adjacent to German units, but Soviet proximity. Oh, hang on though, Grant. The other option was Soviet support, wasn't it? Yeah, I was looking at proximate there. Give me a sec. Yeah. Well, I started thinking, oh no, that means all these are in Soviet support, but I still need to trace Soviet supply as well. So the fact that we've still got this unit, well, mind you, we can come along this road then, can't we? So anything that was able to trace onto that hex there would be able to... Oh no, it wouldn't. That German unit's exerting zone of control in there with no Soviet unit. So that's what I'd have to... I'd have to trace it onto that hex. So looking at maybe this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's one short, isn't it? So that one isn't any good. Right, I better have a wee bit closer look, I think. Okay, just as well, I was about to give up on that one, but just as well, I did have a look. And I was looking at this one. I think anything further back from there, yeah, has no chance. But this one I was trying to get down to here is one hex short. But however, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 onto that road is supply traceable. So, and that is in support, or is it? Oh, it's not. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm looking at this line here, wasn't I? Yeah, the line is here. Ah, you divvy. Soviet West support line. Yeah, it's this line here, so that is outside it. Okay. Right, back to the drawing board. Okay, and when I said these were, well, this one's adjacent to German unit. This one wasn't. It can trace supply. It's outside Soviet support though, but if a Soviet unit was proximate to it, that'd still apply, but there's not... Actually, hang on, Grant. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is a Soviet unit proximate, Grant. Now he's breaking zone of control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there is, Grant. So that is still viable then. Let's just double check. So it's an empty village hex. That's all we're looking at, villages. Soviet units proximate. Let's say we've just checked that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, no issues there. It isn't in support, but Soviet units proximate. Soviet supply can be traced, like I've said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Onto that road is fine. Actually, I'm just looking at that road being fine. It can't go up this way now. There's no unit in there, and we have got Soviet zone of control in there. So in actual fact, getting on this road can go up to here, but then has to come back down and then up, which is fine. It still works, but yeah, this is going to cause them trouble if I can get along here a little bit. And the fact that they've no defence in there at all starts to make me wonder if I'm doing things right. Yeah, because I mean the force I've got up there, I feel quite confident I can take care of. This is surrounded. These are surrounded, and these two are, well, in a bit of trouble, and they're not exactly the strongest units. Right. Anyway, back to the job at hand, Grant. So supply can be traced. Yeah, a German unit is not adjacent. And sorry, I'm looking at this one here. Wasn't it? Yeah, German unit is not adjacent. German unit would be proximate to the garrison hex, which is true, or German supply can be traced to the hex. Within current Soviet operational limit, that's not kicked in yet. That does kick in this turn, doesn't it? When does that? A sec. Yeah, and I remember thinking about this one, thinking, oh, we're going to have hunt them under 21 points, which I thought was the number. However, the operational limit line can change. It says the operational limit is in use can change in the middle of an activation, which the VPs change between 20 and 21. So, although we've got them at 17 just now, if they were to take Kharkov at any time, that would switch the operational limit. But as far as I'm aware, that is in, I mean, we've started the turn. So it says from turn 6 onwards, the far operational limit line is in use when the Soviets have 21 or more victory points. They've only got 17. So the near operational limit line is in use when the Soviets have 20 or fewer victory points, which is the case. So they're using the near operational line. So you know what line? That's the same line as their support line at the moment. It's the exact same line. So the fact that I'm checking for support, well, I mean, that, mind you, that does mean... What's this one we were checking just now? This one, wasn't it? Let me take that away again just now then. Because that is not in support, and that is not in the operational line. I just need to make sure that's kicked in already. When units become subject. At the start of the game, no Soviet units are subject. Later in the game, when the Soviet's front objective marker is removed from the map, all units of that front immediately become subject to this. Oh. Right, hang on here. But not both front objective markers have been removed yet. Just the Voronezh front. So how does that work? All units of that front immediately become subject to the Soviet operational limit currently used. As long as a front objective marker is on the map, the units of that front are not subject to the operational limit, regardless of Soviet VP level. So then it says, one of 3 Soviet operational limits is in use at a time and can change at any moment after game turn 5 depending on Soviet victory points. Well, does it say on the calendar that it kicks in? No. Doesn't say anything about it. I mean, I'm assuming it starts at the very beginning of the turn, and we are in the supply phase. Let's see if I can see the sequence of play, maybe. Okay, there's no mention in the sequence of play about when it actually kicks in, so the fact it's got on page 26 a 9.8 Soviet operational limit. From turn 6, the far operational line's used for 21 victory points or more, the near operational line is used for 20 victory points or more. But that bit before, the fact, so, well, hang on, what is it we're trying to check here? A German unit would be no, within the current Soviet operational limit. Right, I'm confused now. Hold on. I've got to assume that at the moment, because we've got less than 20 or we've got 20 or less, sorry, the Soviets have 20 or less victory points, that the near operational line is in use. Now, if I was to activate a Voronezh front unit, which objective marker's still on the map, I don't think that would concern him. Because it says, later in the game, when a Soviet front's objective marker is removed from the map, per 9.12, all units at that front immediately become subject to the Soviet operational limit currently in use. As long as a front objective marker is on the map, the units of that front are not subject to the operational limit, regardless of VP level. So, and then it says the effects are, when the far or near Soviet operational limit line is in use, actions by Soviet units subject to the limit, that is, Soviet units in a front without an objective marker, are affected in the hexes beyond to the west-south of the line, as specified in certain movement methods and placement procedures. The operational limit has no effect on supply and Soviet support. Okay, I can only take from, because the condition, the requirement we are looking for is just within the current Soviet operational limit. So to me, because they've only got 17 victory points, this is outside the current Soviet operational limit. Now, like I say, I think a Voronezh front, the fact this was proximate to this, I think he's entitled to move outside the operational limit. He's got no issues because his front objective marker's still on the map. But I think what we're doing just now is following these requirements, and that would be outside the operational limit. Which one was it? Yeah. So, well, hopefully I've got that right. That's, yeah, what I can take for it. Whereas a Voronezh front unit would be restricted to moving outside that line because that is not in the operational limit. And I think it's only restricted in certain movement methods and whatever. But that requirement just says within the current Soviet operational limit. Okay, so I'm going to not place that one. Tried a couple of times, but we're going to go with not then. So I think this was the one I was thinking next. Now that's adjacent to German unit, that's adjacent to German unit, so I think it was this one. So that is in support and in the operational line. Supply can be traced. A Soviet unit is proximate. Well, it's in support. German supply, now that was, I did start wondering about, because remember, these exert zone of controls while we're doing this. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, actually, that one does not, because the German unit's adjacent to it. Yeah, so we actually don't look at that at all. So he can actually go 1, 2, 3, 4 onto that road. But he could have went 1, 2, 3, 4 onto that road and trace supply. But yeah, we ignore garrisons that are adjacent to German units. So German supply is traceable, Soviet supply is traceable. It's in support, it's in the operational limit. Yeah, so that goes there. Now, we also, I've got to remember, we need to check other. In fact, maybe I should have checked them first, just in case. Well, this should be okay, because we just check at the end of turn, don't we? Right, well, the big one, can we still trace German supply to this? Yes. Soviet supply, by putting other garrisons down, it doesn't stop Soviet supply, so we don't need to look at that. Let's say German supply is traceable, German supply is traceable. Yeah, okay, right, I'll keep looking. Okay, I think that one's good as well. Soviet supply traceable. Soviet unit may not be proximate, but it's still in support, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, supply, German supply is traceable. German supply is still traceable to that, and like we say, because that would have stopped my supply trace up that way. However, we ignore this garrison while we're checking. Yeah, when checking German proximity and supply trace in this process, all garrisons not adjacent to German units are considered to possess the Soviet zone of control. Treat garrisons in hexes adjacent to German units as if they do not exist. So we ignore this garrison and we are able to trace German supply to that one. So all of them are still in place. Right, what's next? Oh yeah, I started looking down here, but I do have to consider the operational limit then. So anything outside this line at all is not considered for garrison. I hope I'm getting that right. I feel like I am. It did confuse me a little bit about the fact that you needed to have your front objective. I mean, what if both front objective markers were still on the map? Would these be considered outside the operational limit line? I actually think they would, yeah. Yeah, I do, because is it 9.8? 9.8 is Soviet operational limit on page 26. Yeah, one of 3 Soviet operational limits is in use at a time and can change at any moment after game turn 5. Well, this is after game turn 5, this is game turn 6. And then it tells you 1 to 5, the entire map is within the Soviet operational limit on game turns 1 to 5. And then 6 plus, the far line's used for 21 or more victory points, the near line's used for 20 or fewer victory points, and that's where we're at. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Hopefully we've not got it wrong, so I can just forget about anything that's outside the operational line, the near operational limit line. Okay, that's the next one coming along. So in support, Soviet supply, no problem. Actually, I don't think we're getting German supply now for that, are we? Although we can ignore this garrison, these 3 are going to block our trace, aren't they? Yeah, so let's forget about that one. Right, hang on the Grant. I do need to keep an eye. I was watching up here, but I think it's a bit too much. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I need to go round the garrison as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I need to get it right round to this hex here. So, yeah, no. Yeah, this isn't very nice. That's right on the road, that as well. How did they get away with that one? That's blocking my supply. Oh, come on. How's that? That can't be right. These guys aren't going to be in supply. Hang on, no, Grant. 1, 2. I've got to forget. See, this is the bit when you're looking at them exerting zone of control, and then, you know, sometimes that happens. Well, it's only the end of turn, in the beginning of the turn, that it kicks in that, and then you revert back to garrisons being like you can't trace through them, but you can trace round them. And then, of course, what can throw you then when you start considering proximity? Well, I'm not proximate because I'll need to stop as soon as I reach this hex adjacent to the garrison. But I can trace supply 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can go round about. So that's all right then. Okay, that's not so bad. Right, so what did we say about this one? German supply not traceable. No, because again, now we're back with zones of control. So you've got to switch between the 2 sort of modes there when you're thinking of things. Although I shouldn't be thinking about supply trace at the moment. We're not there yet. So, right, so I don't think that one works then. So what's next? I thought that one might have been getting a bit closer. But because the garrison's exerting its control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 1 hex short of reaching the road, and that map edge is Soviet. Yeah, so no German supply for that one either. Right, keep looking. Okay, here's a good one for us. Just looking back at this guy, and I suddenly switched on when I seen what I'll call Lawrence's unit here. Which reminded me that it wasn't just about German supply trace, it could be about German proximity. So I was kind of not thinking there again. So That's a fair point. Is there anything that I might have missed in there? Like this one, no, because I don't think he can trace. He can't come through here. He's not proximate to that. Yeah, because that garrison's there, there's not a gap for him to move through, so that should be fine. And then, of course, this guy himself can't. Well, he's not proximate. I just started looking at this hex. This might be an option because he is proximate to that, but none of these because of the Soviet units. However, I then started thinking about this guy here. Again, now we can't trace up and around for supply, but I think this is kind of interesting because when we look at proximate, it says a German unit can't trace proximity through a garrisoned hex or through a hex adjacent to a garrisoned hex unless the German unit is adjacent to the garrisoned hex. Okay, so, and we're checking for German proximity here. However, again, we know for a fact that if I activate 40 core and my burst impulse and things haven't changed up here, this garrison's going to come away. I'm then going to be able to move into that town and then I have to stop. So I'm not so sure I am proximate to that hex. On saying that, Grant, I don't think you're proximate to it anyway. So that might get you out of this one without needing to know the answer to this. Because that's woods and that's woods. So let's just say on my normal movement, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's pretty restrictive to get into, isn't it? And even going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it wouldn't matter at all actually. But curious about the answer to that question. Can this unit, the fact he's adjacent to this garrison, be considered proximate? Well, in actual fact, I'm just about to look. I suppose I could just about to look at that one. Right, we might have the same issue there then, because he's adjacent to this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is he considered proximate to this? But remember, as soon as he moves into there, he's got to stop because he's taken that town. However, with that, could I not just say, but then this might not have the movement. This is broken, so it's breaking zone of control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, that can't reach. Yeah. I mean, I would have to say no. I don't think, unless we had 2 units there. One's got to be able to take the town if we activate 40 core. However, could you not just say, activate the units, garrison comes off, this infantry unit moves 1, 2, 3 into there, or this guy, and then he's free to come around to land in there. Yeah, I suppose that works, doesn't it? I suppose that works. What if, though? What if none of these other units were here and he was the only unit there? He was the only unit that was adjacent to that garrison town. Garrison Soviet town, remember? Would he still be considered proximate to this hex? There's the question for the day then. So I might even pop that question out there actually, in some kind of way. It's probably one of the ones that could do a picture, but I think I want to say that we can allow this to be proximate to this, assuming we know something else can move into the town first. But there's nothing really written in the rules with that. I don't. Let's see what it says about taking a town. I mean, it does just restrict you that a unit must stop moving or advancing upon entering an enemy town or city. So there's not. I mean, if you read right into the rules, you could see that if that unit was on his own, that he wouldn't be proximate because he would have to stop, unless, of course, he had the movement to move round about, knowing that the garrison's going to drop off. But you can see this too restrictive. This is 5 movement in here. That would be 6, and then Whereas if he's allowed to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he can do it. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might pop that question out there. It might be better with a picture, like I say, but I want the description to be that it's only the one unit that we're looking at, because, well, are we allowed to consider the other units? You know, with the situation we've got just now, can I look at it that way? Can I say, well, what will happen is this unit will move? No, what will happen is we activate 40 core, the garrison goes away, we move this unit into there, and then this unit's then proximate to that hex. Should we really be looking at all that? I don't know. I mean, that seems fair enough. And to be honest, if the unit was on its own, it seems also fair enough that he wouldn't then be proximate to there. But yeah, I think I might take a little picture of this and maybe pop a question out there. Right, hi again all. I've been on pause again there for a few hours. I did go and pop a question out there regarding this situation. And funny enough, after posting it, the response I got back from Tom, I kind of was wondering just after posting it, I thought, you know what, it maybe does, like, you can't really consider multiple units moving. You know, it's each individual unit. If you think back to, like, the description of dangerous round is a different thing, whereas there's lots of different units can move. But this isn't the case. This is just talking about a unit being proximate. So I can't really consider activating the whole core, the garrison coming off, this unit moving into the town, and then this unit then being proximate. I don't think you can really consider all that. I suppose, let's just say you activated just one unit rather than the whole core, you know. I couldn't do it if I activated an any one unit move, and that was the second part of my question. But I totally believe that you can't do that. If it was only this unit that was here, you couldn't. And the reason being is proximate says it takes into consideration, and I think the big word within it is terrain actually. Movement restrictions are taken into account when determining proximity. These include terrain, enemy units and zones of controls, supply state and stacking limits. Well, yeah, this isn't a terrain that's like not accessible, but it is a terrain that you've got to stop when you move into. So yeah, it kind of makes sense that I can't be proximate. And if I've got to go through that town to get there, I cannot do it because I've got to stop when I enter the town. And like, Tom came back saying he didn't think it was that you could consider all the units because, it's not how it's done. And I think I thought that, like I say, just after I posted it, I thought, you know what, I don't think that works, Grant, because of this. He did, however, say there's nothing specifically written in the rules that spells that out. So, yeah. So whether we might get a bit more info on that or not. So I was going to allow myself, now when this is we were talking about, no, this one wasn't accessible because of the terrain. However, I think I was going to allow this one because of my thinking initially with that, but I'm not now. I'm going to agree with what Tom's came back with and say that no, I can't consider other units going in here. I've got to just look at the proximity of one unit has got to be able to move to that right now, and it's not possible. It's not. Yes, the garrison will fall off if I choose to look at this unit. Yes, I ignore the garrison. However, as soon as he moves into the town, he's got to stop. So, interesting, but I think that's right. So, right, let's move on. This could end up being a part in itself again, just starting the turn. But well, if I do that, I can again put a comment in the header saying such. So hang on, I have kind of jumped to this one. So let us backtrack a little bit and see where we're at. Now, yeah, we decided that everyone's got to be within the operational limit. So this would be considered. And yeah, I noticed that although German supply is not traceable to this, as Warren's pointed it out to me, this unit is proximate to that hex. Soviet supply is traceable to the hex. What were the other things again? I've come away from that page. It's 15 point something, that 15.1 is it? Soviet unit proximate or the hex is in support. Well, actually both the things apply. Soviet supply can be traced. Yeah, German unit is not adjacent. No. German unit would be proximate or German supply can be traced, and then it's within the current Soviet operational limit. So yes, a garrison can be placed there. Now, does that affect any other previous garrisons that were placed? Well, we've just placed this one recently. No, that doesn't affect that because it can still trace supply. And well, it must be able to. Yeah, it's only German supply you need to look at when you're looking at that grant, because the other requirements are already set. They'll not change by me placing the garrison. It's only the supply situation. At least I think that's how I'm thinking about it. Right, so we have decided that neither of these, I think this was one too far away anyway, but this one would have worked if this unit did not have to stop in the town. So there's not a German unit proximate to this hex. And not to that hex. And German supply cannot be traced there. Right, okay, let's look at the next row. No, I think this one here works as well, whether I think that might knock that one out though. Because we're proximate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Soviet supply is traceable, it's in Soviet support. It's not adjacent to German unit, so yes, but my guess is... now that's in a VP town anyway, so we don't look at them. My guess is that now we are not proximate to that. No, that's right. So that one's going to come off again, so it just leaves that one. And these up here, not German supply, and there's not... Right, hang on though, Grant. So we've got to check just a wee bit higher up there, just in case. I think the terrain's a bit tricky to come through though, isn't it? Now we know if this unit activated, the garrison would go away, so he would be able to go straight into there, but that's five movement right away. So, yeah. We need to be able to come through the town, across the bridge here, through the town. And, you know, if all that was free, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we would actually be proximate. But that's the same questions I was kind of like asking. No, what are you talking about, Grant? I'm talking about this hex. This is a town anyway. It's this one. But, well, yeah, well, that is a bit closer then. But it's still 1, 2 crossing the major river, the Donetsk River. 3 into the woods is 5, and then 1 into there is 6. So he's 1 short. And the infantry further back, it's just as bad, isn't it? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, I can't even get across the river. So yeah, and just 1 short there. Well, what about this one then? And for that matter, this one, Grant. What about they two? Surely garrisons can be placed in them. Right, I'm going to unplug this phone, it's restricting my movement here. Right, let me get a bit closer to that and have a look. Well, this one first. This German unit is proximate. There's 1 into this broken hex. He's infantry. 1 crossing the Donetsk. There's 2, and then 2 into the woods. So, and that is a Soviet map edge hex. So supply is traceable. It's in Soviet support. So although a Soviet unit is not proximate to it, it is in Soviet support. Soviet unit's proximate, or the hex is in Soviet support. Yes, it is. And German unit's proximate, German unit's not adjacent. It's in the Soviet operational limit. Yeah, that one is good. So a garrison can go there. Now, yeah, I think we. Well, hang on. What about this guy though? No, because it's woods again. Like I've said, it's 5 into there, and it's another 3 into there. And I've already said this guy can't even get across the river, can he? Because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 movement for him to reach there. So, but, German supply, Grant. German supply is traceable to that hex. Yeah, it is. German supply is traceable, Soviet supply is traceable. It's in Soviet support, it's not adjacent to German unit. That's a garrison. Now, does that move the other one? No, it does not. Because in actual fact, I don't actually need to be proximate to that. The same thing just needs to be true of supply. And we can trace German supply to that hex. Yeah, so it's not great, but the garrisons are over there, but we're hoping to come through this road. So, yeah. Right, well, let's move on to the next next rows now then, hopefully. Now, I looked here, and here was fine, and yeah, I went right along to there, didn't I? So here was okay then, was it? And here? Well, yeah, if German supply, yeah, I forgot, I wasn't thinking about supply. I keep getting, you've got to think of them both. So before that, I put that there, that was probably, I could probably trace German supply from that. I could, yeah. Here's me trying to trace proximity. However, now we cannot get German supply to that because these are the garrisons. Yeah, that's right. So no German supply, no German proximate. And yeah, I think we can ease off on things now a little bit. Now that this looks like this is locked in, this now. So what we got next? Well, we do have this guy here. And in actual fact, he's not went isolated yet, so he still can move. Although he's shortly to be going isolated. Yeah, we should actually be looking at this unit. So I placed this one, because he was proximate. He's out of supply, but he can move 2 hexes. That's all he can move is 2 hexes, because he's out of supply. There's 1, 2, no, it's 1 breaking zone of control. And 2 into the broken, so that's 3, 4 movement. He can reach this hex, so he's proximate to this hex only, not, hang on, that's not an operational limit, it needs to be at that side, right, okay, that's fine then. Right, we can move along. And this one would be, well, it's outside the operational limit as well. It's also adjacent to German unit. This is adjacent to German unit. And I think now things up in this area are, there's no way German supply or German proximity is traceable to any of the villages up there now, yeah. So, but we do need to consider the rest of this area, because this is a German map edge hex and so is further down. However, this is the operational limit line again, Grant, so it needs to be above that. That one's adjacent to German unit, that one's the wrong side of the operational limit. That one is on the right side of the operational limit. Can we trace German supply? 1, 2, 3, 4, well no, we can't get through this gap here to the map edge. So, what was I looking at? This one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can't get down to the map edge. There's no gap here either, or there. And he can't. Oh, he can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he can't trace into there. No, that's right. Okay. So that one isn't any good. Going up here, what about that? Will be the same situation, won't it? Yeah. In fact, any of them up there will not be able to trace to the map edge, will they? No. And like I say, and then further up's just, it's not got any chance at all. And any of these ones down here are below the operational limit line. Okay. Well, I think that's it then. Well, yeah, fingers crossed. Right. Yeah, I'm as well just putting this together as a part because I've got a bit cut already, and I think it was 12 or 13 minutes. So I'll just finish this and put this as a part, and then we can get started with the command phase, and I'll put a wee comment in the header in case people would rather not watch that. Well, we've got left some garrisons left over that time. 4 left over, so I could maybe put. Well, you know what? I think I will. Yeah, I might as well put them. It was just. I know it's not. I'm not going to mess it up, but it's just nicer to see that. Seeing the 2 hexes together reminds you it's a town, rather than looking at this one. You know, there's only one marker in that hex, so it's a garrison. Whereas this is a town because there's 2 in it, and this is a town. So it's easier to pick that out. Anyway, so where are we? Supply phase, place garrisons. Right, determine supply status of German units, then Soviet units. Remove out of supply and isolate markers from units in supply, and then step 3 is place out of supply markers on unsupplied units. If already out of supply, place isolated marker. If already isolated, check for surrender. And yeah, that's that. Right, so let's check for supply. Might as well just start at this side. We're meant to check German first, are we? Yeah, German units. Right, these 2 down the bottom are fine. They're just adjacent to, well, this is on the map edge and he's a couple of hexes away. Unfortunately, Kharkov has no hope, so he moves to isolated state, which is not good. But we'll see what happens. This guy's in the same position. Well, this is a bit of a bummer. Yeah, he definitely can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's just can get to this road here, but unfortunately, Poltava is where he would need to come through. So yeah, and he can't get away around 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3. I mean, he's 4 hexes short or something from getting right round to the road here. Yeah, it's not happening. So unfortunately now, with that happening, and this is also relevant to the way we're checking these, because it does say the determine supply status of German units, then Soviet units. So we do check the German units first, and with this guy now becoming isolated, he does not exert zone of control anymore in these 2 hexes, which now means that this road is a supply road for the Soviets from away back here, from away back at Krasnograd, just before Krasnograd in fact. So that's going to help them. Isolated, does not exert zone of control. Yeah, okay. Right, moving along. Well, this guy we know should be okay. Now, again, remember, there's garrisons are not doing their thing, but we can't go through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down on that road, he's good, so he's fine. Yeah, I didn't actually look at these guys, to be honest. Well, let's look at this guy first, because if he can trace, he can trace. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's fine. They 2 are fine. These guys all here are fine. They're on the right side of things. This guy's fine. He can come down the map edge. And I think everyone else is okay. These 2 third corps units. This up here is fine. And then just to double check. Yeah, we were concerned for a moment, weren't we? But I think it all worked out. Well, this guy's on a supply road. This is a supply road. Remember, this is just an army objective marker. This guy can go in here and then on the road. So this guy's on the road. This guy can trace into here. So they're all fine. So this guy can go 1, 2 onto this road and he's fine. And then I think this was the one I was worried about, was it not? Because he can't trace into there. So he's got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he can just come round the garrison and then he's on the road, so he's fine. Right, let's check Soviet units. Right, and we'll check up at this end, and I'm going to get a couple out of supply markers ready. 2 at least I'm hoping for. So, well, first of all, Ham. He's got Zok, 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 and 3 Zoks there as well. So he is surrounded and goes out of supply. He's not got a supplied friendly unit adjacent that he can trace supply from. And also this guy is the same. So goes out of supply. Now this guy unfortunately can trace 1, 2, 3 onto this road, and this road is fine. It does have to kind of go along up and then back down again, but it is fine. But I'd like to think we can maybe make that a bit harder for them come next turn. It depends. Because like I said, I don't think anything's proximate to this Izium. So as long as we get an early 40th Corps activation, I think we're going to grab that as well. But we'll see. You never know what could pop up. Yeah, I mean, there is a couple of First Guards Army units in the Reserve Units box. So, yeah, who's to say if First Guards activated that one of them might not even maybe deploy in there, because they're not bound by the same restrictions as us. Okay, so like I say, he's okay, and if he's okay, and then he's okay. So that's fine there. So we've got 2 units up there. Now, is there anything else? I think there might be. I think that guy in the middle there is, isn't he? These are fine. And remember, like I say, because that guy's isolated, it's going to be easier for them. So they're fine. I think this guy's out though, isn't he? Zok, 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 Zok. Yeah, he's surrounded. So we get that guy too. That's good. And coming further down, these guys are fine. Let's say this road works fine now because of that isolation. Now, and yeah, it was going to cause trouble. What it was going to cause trouble for was these 3 units down here, these 3 here, and this guy here, because they could only trace onto this road. And that's what I was hoping. At first I thought, I'm going to catch him out of supply. However, now he's isolated. Not the case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To be honest, they just need to get to here, and they're on the road. And he's actually on a traceable supply road now, the way it works. So that's fine. And in the middle of the map and up the top, yeah, they're all fine. Yeah, and no issues here. And remember, these don't exert zone of controls now. I've already checked this guy. This guy can get up to this road as well. This guy, no, that's not true, because that takes you through Kharkov. Well, actually, no. He is actually on the supply road, because it can go up in there and then back out into there. So that does actually work. So that would work for this guy as well. So he doesn't actually need to trace up to there. He's on the road that goes through here. And then finally, this guy down here. Now, he can't trace along this road because there's German unit here. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He can trace to the road here and he's fine. Okay, so all good. Right. Let's get this bit finished. And hopefully I've got some time left to do something more interesting. So that was supply phase step 3, well 2 and 3 really. Just we put out supply markers on, isolated markers. Nobody became back in supply. So step 4 is from turn 8, check victory points to determine Soviet support line use. Well, we're not at turn 8 yet, we're on turn 6. And then step 5 is from on turn 7 we check for front objective removal. So now we command phase and conduct alternate impulses, and as always it's the Soviets to go first. Right, but I'm going to cut this now and put that together with that other part, and I'll get that uploaded and make a wee comment that it's just again containing the first 3 phases of the sequence of play: reserve phase, car prep phase and supply phase. And then we'll get down to the the command phase in the next part. Okay guys, cheers.